Mr. Bartlett, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, imagine Mr. Templeton's suffering. Imagine Mr. Templeton's pain, his anguish, immobilized for months, his life a shambles, his hopes and dreams dashed.
Objection. Your Honor, our experts could find no medical reason for Mr. Templeton to be in a body cast.
Your experts will get their chance to speak, Miss Harris. You may continue, Mr. Bartlett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I can continue. Mr. Templeton cannot fulfill his dream of winning an Olympic gold medal in the 100-meter dash.
100-meter dash? Your Honor, Jack Templeton is 53 years old.
He still had his dream.
He never ran competitively in his life.
And now, thanks to your client, he never will.
This is outrageous.
I'm just trying to seek justice for my client.
You wouldn't know justice if it bit you in the behind.
Miss Harris.
At least I've got one.
Mr. Bartlett, approach the bench, both of you.
Can't believe you're using that Olympic trick again.
Well, sure paid the bills while we were married.
Oh, yeah, marriage made in hell.
Quiet, both of you. Now, I will not permit this petty bickering in my courtroom. Now, either you conduct yourselves as professionals or turn your cases over to your associates, understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This court is recessed until 2 o'clock.
Which?
Jerk.
Eddie, how'd it go?
I got the jury in the palm of my hand. This case is good for $6, maybe $7 million.
That's great, Eddie, but you should have seen John in court today.
The DA was gloating. He was sure he had the murder conviction.
But John's summation was brilliant. 30 minutes later, the jury came back with a verdict, not guilty.
Well, congratulations, John. You keep making the headlines, I'll keep making the money.
Money isn't everything, Eddie.
A few $1 million are not worth a firm's reputation.
Oh, Sam, you're worrying too much. I've dotted every I, I've crossed every T. Relax.
You son of a bitch! You know what? I'm gonna kill you. I'll kill you. Let me go. Let me go. You are not gonna get away with this. You know, I'll kill you.
No hard feelings. It's okay, guys. Let her go.
I am not finished with you yet. Let me go.
Women.
Excuse me, Mr. Bartlett. I was in the courtroom today. You're a very good lawyer.
Well, thank you very much.
I've got a problem, and I thought that maybe you could help me. My husband was hurt at work, and
How serious?
he broke his back.
How terrible. I'll be glad to help. You call me.
It's Burke's Law.
No, it's a bad idea. No, I can't.
Vinny,
no.
it's fine. We always have time for you, right,
it's
Dad?
Absolutely. Oh, you have no idea. When you say that, how happy that makes me feel. My mother is coming for a visit.
That's wonderful.
From Palermo.
How long she staying?
Oh, well, just a weekend, that's all. She's on her way to Hawaii. A honeymoon, you know, with a new husband. A guy, she met a guy, Swedish, and, how about that?
And you're nervous about meeting her new husband?
No, I'm not. I really wanted to be happy. I'm nervous about her seeing my house.
You don't have a house, Vinny. You have an apartment.
I know. So you see, when I write letters to my mother, I exaggerate a little bit, and, you know, to make her proud. So she thinks I'm very rich, and she thinks I own a chain of restaurants, and she thinks that this is my house.
What'd you say?
That this is my house.
That's my house.
I know that, and you know that, and my mother doesn't, and she thinks that I own it. And if she finds out that I've been lying all this time, I swear it's gonna kill her. And I would hate to have my mother's blood on my hands.
How long did you say she'd be in town?
A weekend, just a weekend.
All right, but Dad, there's got to be something we can do for Vinny. Why
No,
not?
no, no, I don't want to impose on you, no.
You can never impose on a friend. Burke's law. Now, while your mother's here, mi casa e tu casa.
No, I can't. Impossible.
All right.
Wait a minute. To insult such a warm and generous offer. Oh, Amos, what can I say? From the bottom of my... Listen, I will have Svensson and my mother out of there before you can say phone. Thank you so much. Maron, what a friend. Thank you, Amos.
Chief Burke here. Oh, yes. We're on our way. They need us at the courthouse.
Trial?
No, this verdict's in. Murder 1. Talk to the witnesses.
Okay.
His name's Edward Bartlett, a lawyer. He was killed by a speeding ambulance.
What makes you think this hit and run is a murder?
Well, we found the ambulance abandoned 2 blocks away. It was stolen last night from County Hospital.
Stolen to run him down?
Well, it sure looks that way.
Chief Burke, what's the difference between a dead snake in the road and a dead lawyer in the road?
You tell me, Your Honor.
Well, there's skid marks in front of the snake.
And there weren't any skid marks in front of Eddie Bartlett.
I told you, Chief. He was murdered.
By someone with a sense of humor.
How's that?
Well, Eddie Bartlett was an ambulance chaser.
None of our eyewitnesses got to look at the ambulance driver.
Oh, Peter, you know Judge Powell.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you again, Your Honor. This might be something, though. 10 minutes before Mr. Bartlett got run over, 2 bailiffs had to break up a fight between him and a woman. Woman threatened to kill him.
Have you got a name?
No, but I got a description.
See if you can find her picture in here.
Don't limit your suspect to one woman. There's a whole lot of people who would have loved to be behind the steering wheel of that ambulance.
Why?
Eddie Bartlett was a ruthless, some say sleazy, personal injury attorney who would do anything to win a case. Guys like Eddie count their success on how many enemies they make, and Eddie was very successful.
Sounds like you weren't too fond of Mr. Bartlett yourself.
The only judgments I make are in my courtroom.
Your Honor?
No pictures in here, but it looks like Mr. Bartlett was a member of a law firm, Gallagher, Ramsey, and Bartlett.
Let's go get some legal advice.
Mr. Bartlett was tough, maybe a little too tough. But that's what we want in a lawyer, isn't it?
Everyone who hires a lawyer wants to win.
And that's what Eddie did. Win.
You liked him.
To be honest, I really didn't know him that well. I've only worked here for 6 months, but he was always very nice to me. I'm sorry, what was it that you wanted to say?
Appointment book, telephone logs, trial schedules. Anything that'll help us piece together the last 2 weeks of the man's life.
Do you have any idea who may have wanted to kill Mr. Bartlett?
No.
Did he ever talk about threats, enemies? Mention anything that worried him, professionally or personally?
Not to me. I was just his assistant. Our conversations were usually limited to how he wanted his coffee and my typos. A lot of these files are missing.
Misplaced?
I'm the only one who used these files, and I didn't misplace them.
What kind of files were they?
All of Mr. Bartlett's current cases.
We'll need a list.
Of course.
We'd like to talk to his partners. Is Mr. Gallagher in?
Sort of. We try not to disturb him between 2 and 3.
This time we'll make an exception.
Good shot, Mr. Gallagher. That one was 262 yards.
Excuse us, Mr. Gallagher. Police. That's a good shot.
Chief Burke, isn't it?
That's right.
What's the chief of homicide doing investigating a hit-and-run accident?
It wasn't an accident. It was murder.
I guess I'm the one to blame.
How's that?
I recruited Eddie straight out of law school, taught him every trick I knew. Turned him into a predator. You know, the kind of litigator that makes a firm money.
I thought the law was about justice.
That's the one lesson I forgot to teach you. By the time I realized my mistake, it was too late. Now, he's dead.
Eddie Bartlett was killed at 12:18. Could you tell us where you were?
In my car, leaving the courthouse.
Alone?
Yes. Oh, God!
I'm afraid you sliced that one into the trees, Mr. Gallagher.
Some files are missing from Eddie's office.
What files?
And that's what we're trying to find out. What can you tell us about current cases?
Nothing. Look, to be honest, I'm semi-retired. I'm more of a figurehead than anything. If you need specifics about Eddie's cases, you better talk to our other partner, John Ramsey.
On my way.
Hi.
Hi. I'm looking for John Ramsey.
Oh, well, he was just here. Let me go see if I can find him.
Thank you. We need to talk before you do anything stupid, Eddie. Well, that was quick. You find him?
Find who?
Mr. Ramsey.
Oh, you're looking for John. Yeah, so am I. I found him. Oh, you thought I was Jenny? It happens all the time.
You're twins. I'll bet it does. Can I help you? Police, Mr. Ramsey. I'd like to talk to you about Eddie Bartlett.
Of course. Yeah, ladies, don't worry about a thing. The case is a lock.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
What kind of case?
Jewelry heist.
They do it?
None of my clients are ever guilty.
What about you?
I didn't give you permission to search my desk, so unless you have a warrant, I suggest you keep your hands in your pockets.
Fine, I'll be back with that warrant.
Okay, look, I'm sorry, really. I'm very upset about what happened to Eddie. Have a seat, please.
Apparently, you and Eddie haven't been getting along. Would you mind telling me where you were at 12:18 today?
I don't need an alibi. Look, this memo is meaningless. I wanted to settle a case out of court, and Eddie was sure that we could double our client's money with a trial. That's all. Really, it's nothing.
You haven't answered the question.
I was grabbing a hot dog at the stand outside the courthouse.
Anyone with you?
No, but you can check with Tommy the vendor. I'm sure he'll remember me.
Okay. Did you and Eddie argue often?
Did we argue? You're talking about two lawyers. Look, you may not know this, but Eddie and I grew up together. We went to school together. We joined the firm together. We became partners together. We fought like brothers, but we also loved each other like brothers.
Somebody didn't love him.
I know, and so did he. He'd been getting threats lately, which he dismissed. I didn't. I told him he should hire a bodyguard. He said I was crazy.
What kind of threats?
Phone calls in the middle of the night. Tires slashed.
Who do you suspect?
Well, Eddie said he wasn't sure, but I was. The one person who hated him more than anybody else. His ex-wife, Kelly Harris.
Time for some bubbly before you give me the third degree?
No, thank you.
It's a little noisy out here. Can we find a quieter place to talk?
Oh, sure. This way.
A red line. Interesting design choice.
No, I can cross it whenever I want. Eddie and I didn't just have a divorce. We waged war, and this house became the ultimate symbol of our victory. So neither one of us are willing to give it up. So Judge Powell, with the wisdom of Solomon, decided to cut the house right down the middle.
Oh. You've been divorced for 3 years, and you're still living under the same roof.
It was a war of attrition. Eddie and I would stare at each other across this line, hoping that the other would blink, but neither one of us ever did.
Well, maybe you planned a preemptive strike. Where were you at 12:18 today?
I was in the law library preparing to kill Eddie in the courtroom.
Anyone see you there?
Oh, I was working at a table, alone. I don't know.
Eddie had been receiving threats. Some people think you were behind them.
Oh, well, maybe I made some late-night phone calls after he ran an ad for an escort service, leaving my number, and it's possible that I let the air out of one or two of his tires after I found my convertible at the bottom of our swimming pool, but, kill him? No.
Now that Eddie's dead, who gets his half of the house?
I do.
I found traces of blood on the driver's side floor of the ambulance.
You able to ID the blood?
Yes. The night the ambulance was stolen, it had just come from a car wreck. So the blood, A positive, matched the accident victims.
Then it can't help us.
Don't be so sure. The blood was on the driver's side?
Right.
Then it could help us.
Oh, if the killer got blood on his shoes, then we'll be able to tie them to the murder.
And finding the murderer might be easier than you think. I was able to lift one clean set of prints from the cab of the ambulance.
Whose?
Eddie Bartlett's senior partner, Sam Gallagher.
This is Chief Burke. We'd like to see Mr. Gallagher first thing this morning.
First thing? I'm sorry, Chief, but we try not to disturb him between 9 and 10.
I'm sure he'll understand. Where is he?
He's at a private art showing.
Thank you.
Come on, Stacy, show her what you made of. That's the way. Now, pin her down. Good move, Liz. Good move. Hello, Chief. Peter, grab a seat. But Stacy's a scrapper, huh?
How can you tell which one's which?
Well, Stacy's got the bigger biceps. The owner of the club is a client of mine. Every Tuesday, he opens up early for me. He knows I love the sport, but hate the crowds.
And I hate asking questions like this. But how did your fingerprints get inside the ambulance that ran down your partner, Eddie Bartlett?
My fingerprints?
They were all over it.
Well, I do own the ambulance company.
You do?
Yeah. Actually, it was Eddie's idea. And what better way to get an inside track on accident victims than to own the ambulance that picks them up? Nice move, Liz.
You may own the ambulance company, but you certainly don't drive your own ambulances.
Of course not.
Then how do you explain your fingerprints?
Was it ambulance number 7?
1 second. Yes, it was.
Oh, well, that explains it. Number 7 is Kristine's ambulance. She's one of my paramedics. Quite beautiful and very married. But she also happens to have a thing for older men. We've been seeing each other for a couple of months, and her favorite place to meet is the cab of her ambulance.
We'll need to verify that.
Oh, go ahead. Talk to her. But please be discreet, huh? Oh, I found out who the woman was in the courthouse that threatened Eddie. A girlfriend of his, Tawny Clay.
Do you know her?
Let me put it this way. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with her. 1, 2, 3, match!
Find Tawny Clay. See if you can pin her down.
I'm in the backyard. Miss Clay? Guess the fishing's pretty good down there.
Well, now, that all depends on your bait. You're dressed awfully nice to be fixing my pool here.
That's because I'm a cop. Peter Burke, homicide.
Well, you must be here about Eddie.
That's right.
I'm doing a photo shoot tomorrow. Dry suits and wet skin. Would you mind? It's awfully heavy.
Not at all. According to 2 bailiffs at the courthouse, you threatened to kill Eddie. 5 minutes later, he was dead.
Great timing, huh?
Yeah, where were you at 12:18 yesterday?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I was so mad I stormed out of the courthouse and started walking. I don't know, it must have been about an hour before I went back for my car.
Why'd you want to kill Eddie?
I didn't want to kill Eddie. It was just something I said.
What'd he do?
He dumped me. And he didn't even have the decency to tell me to my face. He sent me a dozen crummy roses and a note that said he'd fallen in love with someone else.
How long have the 2 of you gone out for?
About 6 months. Eddie hated to go out, and I hated to go to his house. Or should I say, Eddie's half of his house. So most of the time we spent right here.
Eddie ever bring his work home with him?
I guess so. But
He never talked about business.
Did he leave things here? You know, clothes, paper, stuff.
Sure. I've got 3 boxes full of the stuff. I was gonna send it back to him, but now that he's dead, I don't know what to do with it.
I do. I'd like to take it with me if I could.
Sure. I'll go get it.
Oh, by the way, do you know who Eddie dumped you for?
You bet I do. His assistant, Susan Bell.
What can I do for you?
Well, you know, Susan, there was one little thing you neglected to tell us about Eddie.
What's that?
That you were also his girlfriend.
Oh, you spoke to Tawny Clay.
That's right.
Well, I was not Eddie's girlfriend. I was just his excuse. He thought it would be kind to say he found someone else and to say he was dumping her because she was boring.
Any luck finding the missing files?
No.
When exactly was the last time you saw them?
Just before Eddie went into the hospital. Or should I say, Mr. Ramsey put him in the hospital.
What?
Yeah, it was about 2 months ago. They had an argument right here in the hallway. It turned into a fist fight, and Mr. Ramsey broke Eddie's nose.
What'd they fight about?
I don't know. Neither one of them would talk about it, but their relationship was never the same again.
I think we better have a talk with Mr. Ramsey.
He's not here. He's in court.
4 different eyewitnesses claim they saw Jenny Dobkin at the jewelry mart. At the exact same time, 4 eyewitnesses put Jenny, 19 blocks away at a restaurant. How is this possible? Jenny, would you please stand?
Your Honor, I object.
You may object, but I'm dying to hear where Mr. Ramsey's going with this. Continue, Counselor.
Our system of justice is based on reasonable doubt. You cannot convict a person of a crime if you harbor any doubt whatsoever. And I have to tell you, when I look at Jenny and her identical twin sister, Ginny, you have to wonder which eyewitness saw who. How can anyone be sure it was Jenny who stole the diamonds when it could have been Ginny?
Then we'll try Ginny for the crime.
No, but how can you be sure it wasn't Jenny? Oh, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if this isn't cause for reasonable doubt, then I don't know what is.
Your Honor, I move for a mistrial.
Case dismissed.
I don't know how I can thank you.
Well, the acquittal is thanks enough. Bye.
Congratulations, Counselor.
That's why I get the big bucks.
I understand you also give some very big lumps. You broke Eddie Bartlett's nose.
Now, that was a mistake. I meant to hit him in the chin. Anyway, he should have thanked me. He picked up 3 clients in the emergency room.
What was the fight about?
You're not going to believe it.
Try us.
It was over a birthday present for our senior partner, Sam Gallagher. We couldn't agree on what color tie to get him.
You're right. I don't believe it.
Well, that's too bad because that's the truth. And if you're still trying to make me a suspect, forget it. I didn't kill Eddie. I'll tell you what, though. When you find out who did kill him, would you send him to me? Because I can always use another client.
It's not really a lot of changes, but I mean, pardon the expression, every time you look at this house, it says Amos Burke, you. Hopefully, before my mother gets here, it's going to say, Vinny, my son, me.
Chief, I don't like the sound of this.
Oh, we're going to keep you on. However, we are going to have to discuss your salary.
Not funny.
What exactly do you want to change?
Well, the rug.
That's not a rug. That is a Persian masterpiece.
Yeah, but it's beige, and it doesn't fit into my color scheme. And the lampshades, my mother is partial to fringe.
Fringe?
Fringe.
It's only temporary, Henry.
Yes, that's right, only temporary. And over here, see this artwork? Look, it has to go.
Which?
Which one? All of them.
Vinny, that is a Monet.
A Monet.
A Manet.
A Manet.
A Renoir.
Renoir.
A Van Gogh.
A Van Gogh. They're nice, hey. Don't get me wrong, they're very nice. But my mother didn't paint them.
Your mother is an artist.
Yeah, she paints everything on velvet. Ooh, wait till you see. I
think I smell something burning. Me.
It's really nice. They're gonna stand out.
Dad, look what I found.
Mi casa e tu casa. Friends can't impose on friends. What did I get myself into? What?
This transcript was buried in one of the boxes I got from Tawny Clay, Eddie's boxes, along with this, a surveillance tape.
Apparently, a woman contacted one of Eddie's old clients, a mobster. She wanted to know how much it would cost to have him killed. The mobster tipped off Eddie, and Eddie arranged to tape the meeting.
Who's the woman?
Kelly Harris.
Eddie's ex-wife, Kelly Harris.
I don't want to know how you're going to do it. I just want to know how much it's going to cost. God, my hair looks awful.
Well, what is it exactly you want me to do to Mr. Bartlett?
Well, you know, I want him to have an accident. I bet Eddie was planning to use that tape to have me disbarred.
How bad an accident?
Bad. Creep was good, making me spell it out.
There's bad, and then there's bad.
Bad as in fatal. How much is it going to cost to have the son of a bitch killed? I know what you're thinking. I ask about arranging to have Eddie killed, and next thing you know, he's dead.
The connection does concern me.
Well, let me put your concern to rest. I was researching one of my cases. I wanted to see how hard it really was to arrange a hit.
What case is that?
Oh, I can't divulge that. I have a client-attorney privilege. Okay, so I toyed with the idea of having Eddie killed, but I didn't do it.
Eddie is dead.
Well, not because of me. I never gave the go-ahead. I never paid him a dime. His name is Hank Corey. Ask him yourself.
I did. Surprise, surprise, a known mobster. Said he didn't do it.
This time he's telling the truth.
I'm curious. How did you find Mr. Corey in the first place?
Well, now that you mention it, I thought he was kidding. Maybe you should speak to him.
Hank Corey?
No. Eddie's senior partner.
Sam Gallagher?
Not only did he give me Hank Corey's name, he also said if I ever decided to go through with it, he might even pay half.
Gallagher, Ramsey, and Bartlett, may I help you?
Oh, Ms. Bell.
Hello, Chief. Boy, what a day. I still can't find those missing files, and now Mr. Ramsey and Mr. Gallagher are screaming at me to find Mr. Bartlett's will. Can you believe it? One of the top lawyers in the city, and it looks like he died without a will.
Is Mr. Gallagher in? No, don't tell me. You try not to disturb him between 12 and 1.
He's right in his office.
You're very nice. Mr. Gallagher?
Ah, you're just in time for the yellowtail. Join me.
Thank you. My, you certainly live an eclectic life, Mr. Gallagher.
Spent the past 40 years in courtrooms, conference rooms, interrogation rooms. And finally, I decided that if I didn't start enjoying the fruits of my labors now, I never would. Octopus?
No, thank you. Oh, I know what you mean. Sometimes we need to take stock of our lives, think about tying off loose ends. Or should I say, killing them off.
I don't understand.
You gave Kelly Harris the name of the hitman? Even offered to pay half?
Oh, that was a long time ago. Oh, she happened to catch me on a bad day. The firm used to be called Kelsey, Gallagher, Ramsey, and Bartlett.
I remember Max Kelsey. He died about 3 years ago.
Well, Max was my dearest friend. Well, shortly before he became ill, he and Eddie had a falling out.
About what?
It doesn't matter. What did matter was the way Eddie treated him. Max wanted to bury the hatchet before he died, but Eddie refused even to go to the hospital. I begged him as a personal favor. Eddie wouldn't do it. A couple of days later, Max died.
And that's when you talked to Kelly Harris?
I hated Eddie for not making peace with Max. So please take anything I may have said that day with a grain of salt.
For your sake, I hope it's the truth. Or you'll be spending the next 40 years in a room with, bars. Arigato. Domo arigato.
So, this blind woman hires a lawyer to draft a will. He charges her $100. So, she hands him a $100 bill and leaves. Then he noticed that she actually handed him 2 $100 bills stuck together. Now he's faced with an ethical dilemma. Do I tell my partner?
Very funny, Your Honor. Tell me, do you think that Sam Gallagher is capable of murder?
You think he killed Eddie Bartlett?
Maybe. Maybe it was his ex-wife, or his girlfriend, or his other partner, John Ramsey. They all have their motives.
Oh, motive isn't everything. I've wanted to kill a lot of the scum that's come through my courtroom. But wanting to kill someone and actually doing it are two different things. Huh? See you later, Amos.
Is it not apparent to you that you are not in charge? Isn't that clear?
No. Absolutely not. You are not touching the Rolls Royce.
Oh, Amos, thank goodness you're here.
Chief?
Wait a minute. What's the problem?
Would it be all right if I borrowed the Rolls to pick my mother up at the airport tomorrow night?
You cannot let him drive the Rolls.
I'm not going to drive the Rolls.
Good.
You are.
Me.
If I'm supposed to be as rich as Amos, did you ever see Amos drive his own Rolls?
He's got a point there, Henry.
Oh, thank you. Amos, thank you so much. Now, you should wear a blue shirt, a kind of a pale... Hi, Peter. Hi, Peter. Listen.
What did I do to deserve this?
Dad.
What?
Bathing suits aren't the only thing Eddie's ex-girlfriend, Tawny Clay, modeled. She also modeled birthday suits.
She's quite a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, does this have anything to do with the case?
Well, in her bio, she talks about her one fault. She's the jealous type. A few years ago, when she found out her boyfriend was cheating on her, guess what she tried to do?
Don't tell me. She tried to run him over with an ambulance.
No, her car.
Close enough. I want you to talk to her again. And don't come back until you get the naked truth.
Very nice. Big smile.
Troy, would you, give me a couple minutes, please?
You got Tony.
Thank you, darling.
Take 5, everyone.
So, did you find anything in Eddie's stuff?
A couple things. I also found an interesting article in Playpen magazine.
Oh, you mean about me being the jealous type?
A lot of people are jealous, but not everyone tries to run somebody over with a car.
Look, I was 18 and stupid.
Have you gotten smarter?
I didn't run Eddie over. Anyway, if I was going to run someone over, it would probably be that Susan Bell.
Eddie's assistant,
Yeah.
because she stole Eddie.
No, because of what she did last night. She turned up at my house, acting like she owned the place, demanded I give her everything Eddie left behind. I asked her to leave, but she wouldn't. Then I told her she was too late, that I'd already given everything to you.
Did you ask her why she wanted it?
She said it was none of my business.
Well, it's starting to sound like it's mine. Thanks. Susan Bell, Detective Burke. Thanks, I'll leave the search warrant on her desk.
I really wish you hadn't found those boxes.
Unless you plan on committing 2 murders, I'd put that gun down.
You think I killed Eddie Bartlett?
These are the missing files. What am I supposed to think?
I'm Special Agent Susan Bell. FBI. For the last few years, the Justice Department has been receiving a number of complaints from insurance companies.
About Eddie Bartlett.
Insurance fraud. They believed he recruited the victims, orchestrated the accidents, and paid off a whole stable of doctors. Cost the insurance companies millions.
So you were sent undercover?
That's right. And I found out the insurance companies were right. 3 out of 5 of Eddie Bartlett's personal injury cases were fraudulent.
Was it just Eddie or were the firm's other partners involved?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to find out when Eddie died.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, Susan, I'm a police officer. You should have told me who you were and what you were doing.
I know. But I was so close to solving the case. And I was afraid that if you found out who I really was, 6 months of hard work would go down the drain.
And by stealing those files, a whole murder investigation might be going down the drain.
No. These aren't the missing files. These are just copies of Eddie's questionable insurance cases. The missing files are still missing.
Well, whoever stole those files must have a lot to lose if Eddie's insurance fraud became public. Who do you think is partners?
I don't know about the senior partner, Sam Gallagher, but I did find this.
A shredded document.
So far, I've been able to piece one of them back together. It's a deposition for one of the missing files.
Where'd you get this?
In the shredder bin in John Ramsey's office.
Yes, I have the tickets right here. Well, the limo should be downstairs any minute, okay? Oh, and don't forget your passport. Yeah. How long have you been there?
Long enough to hear you're planning a trip out of the country. Bahamas. Nice this time of year. You're a suspect in a murder investigation, Mr. Ramsey. You know better than to leave town, much less the country.
Just a weekend trip with Jenny. You know, one of the twins.
Only one?
But what was I thinking? No, I have a lot of work to prepare for this weekend, and so I think I'll just postpone the trip.
Good idea. And maybe you can explain this.
Where did you get that?
The question is, why'd you shred it?
Because I didn't want to get disbarred.
I know about the insurance fraud.
Well, I didn't. Not until about 3 weeks ago when one of Eddie's files accidentally ended up on my desk. That's why Eddie and I got into a fight. And that's why Eddie sent me that memo that you read.
We need to talk before you do anything stupid.
That's right, because I was going to the DA. Look, Sam Gallagher and I had absolutely nothing to do with Eddie's scheme. But if it were ever uncovered, the whole firm would be implicated.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call shredding documents cooperating with the DA.
When Eddie died, so did my reason to go to the DA. But I knew that your investigation would uncover the scheme, so I decided to destroy the evidence and save the firm's reputation.
Or maybe you decided to destroy the most damaging piece of evidence of all. Eddie Bartlett.
Whoa, hang on! Whoa, wait a second! Hang on, officer. Officer Keller, hi. I'm Peter Burke, homicide.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How did you become detective without being able to read? The sign says no parking between 8 p.m. and midnight.
I was just on some official business in that building.
Whoa! You should have put your plat card on the dash.
I forgot.
Come on, I'll give you a ride home. Hop on.
Hop on where?
Hop on.
Here, where?
That used to be a Monet. That used to be a Van Gogh.
Renoir. I have to admit, Vinny's mother has a singular vision.
Unbelievable.
I just got off the phone with Tommy Katz.
Tommy who?
Tommy Katz, he's the hot dog vendor outside the courthouse. I asked him to confirm John Ramsey's alibi. He couldn't. He says all lawyers look alike to him, and none of them ever tip.
Add John Ramsey's name to the list of suspects without alibis.
Along with senior partner Sam Gallagher, ex-wife Kelly Harris, and ex-girlfriend, car enthusiast Tawny Clay. Wow, it's gonna be a long weekend, huh?
Excuse me. Chief Burke here. Oh, I see. Thank you. I think I know who our killer is.
You do? How?
Thanks to you. Or should I say, thanks to your parking ticket. I got to thinking. The ambulance was stolen from County Hospital.
And there's restricted parking everywhere there.
That's right. And then I thought that maybe the killer got a parking ticket the night he stole the ambulance. And he did. Come on, we need a little help from Lily, and then we're on our way to court. They're contesting Eddie Bartlett's will today.
Well, it's not my fault Eddie died without a will.
You got the house. What more do you want?
Based on the divorce settlement, all she can get.
How could this guy die without a will?
Easier on him. He never thought he was going to die.
And wouldn't have. If it wasn't for someone in this courtroom.
You mean one of us killed Eddie?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Gallagher.
I didn't kill Eddie.
Oh, I know that. But the department's been receiving complaints about broken windows in Century City office buildings, golf balls. We'll send you the bill. And you.
What are you looking at me for?
You should be arrested. No one should look as good in a bathing suit as you do. Yeah. Ms. Harris. I was always sure, Ms. Harris, that you killed Eddie.
I didn't.
I know that now.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the only one left, and I didn't do it either.
Too bad. But you're not the only one left. Is he, Your Honor?
What?
You killed Eddie Bartlett.
I should hold you in contempt.
A routine check of parking tickets issued on the night the ambulance was stolen turned up one for you.
Your car was parked across the street from the hospital. Your ticket was issued at 1:45 a.m.
You were there, Judge. You stole the ambulance.
That's absurd.
We know because the ambulance had just come from a very bad accident. The driver had gotten blood on the shoes, and that blood was on the ambulance's accelerator pedal.
And we found traces of the same blood on the floor mat of your car.
Eddie Bartlett was scum. He represented everything that's wrong in the legal system. He was a cockroach, sneaking in and out of the cracks in the law. I watched him in my courtroom for 9 years. I knew when his witnesses were coached. I knew when his clients were lying. It was all a game to him. He didn't care about justice. All he cared about was winning. Didn't matter who it hurt. Didn't matter what it cost. Well, I care about justice. So I put Eddie Bartlett on trial, I convicted him, and carried out his sentence.
The one thing you didn't plan on was getting caught.
Hey, Amos. What do you call 100 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean?
I don't know.
A good start.
Who should be holding whom in contempt?
Lovely.
Mamma mia, che bellezza di casa. The pictures look beautiful in miei quadri. I painted them, you know.
You must be Vinny's mother.
Ma sure. How you guess?
Hey, Ma, because I talk about you all the time. Henry, put those bags up in the blue room.
Yes, Mr. Piatti.
Ma, I want you to meet two of my best friends, Amos Burke and his son, Peter.
Piacere.
This is my mama.
Piacere tutto mio.
Oh, anche I fiori, che bellezza, grazie.
And where might the lucky groom be?
All'inferno, in hell, for all I care.
Svensson and my mother had a little
Avrei
disagreement.
dovuto sgraziare gli occhi, avrei.
Yeah, you know, just before the wedding, when I just tied the knot, Interpol came in and arrested him. 11 counts of bigamy.
11.
I know, Ma, 11, I'm sorry.
Avrei dovuto rompergli la testa e anche qualche altra cosa.
What'd she say?
Has to do with body parts you don't want to know.
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Piatti.
That's okay. I get over it. Especially now that I'm going to be living with my beautiful boy, eh?
Living here with Vinny?
Ma sure.
I thought you were spending the weekend.
Oh, that was before my heart was broken. But now I think I stay forever. Vado a sfare le valigie. I go and pack.
Yeah. Me too, Mom.